So going up against Gus Bradley's defense again,
Mm-hmm.
how much familiarity do you have with his defense? Just obviously from training camp 2020, playing him twice last year. Just how much familiarity do you have with sort of how they play?
Yeah, we've got a lot of respect for Gus and his defense, and having played with him for a year, I got to learn a lot from him, and I've got a lot of respect for him as a coach and, as a football mind. And some of the things they've been doing in the past couple of weeks might differ from what he's done usually. They've been able to switch things up, and they've been playing really good football. And, their record might not say it, but, they've got a really good defense, and they're able to put some points up too. So they require a lot of attention from us, and we've had to have a good week of practice, of preparation to get after it.
Justin, this game is going to be indoors. If it was outdoors, it'd be much different. How thankful are you just the fact that that's a dome stadium?
I heard it's awfully cold over there. I really can't imagine that, especially, being where we are right now. But getting ready for whatever conditions we play in, and we're thankful for just an opportunity to be playing football. So whatever the weather was like, we'd be ready to get after it. And, it happens to be in a dome this week, but we'll be ready whatever happens.
What's the coldest game you played?
Mid-20s in Eugene, so nothing quite like what they're experiencing over there, but still felt pretty cold.
Windy? Was it windy that day?
No, it was actually just cold. It wasn't raining, so that was nice, and those are somewhat manageable if it's not too rainy.
This time last year, you guys, went into Houston, and not to look back, obviously focusing on this year and this team, but just with that loss and how things ended last year, what did that do to your mindset now entering a very similar scenario where you guys are 8-6, have a real opportunity for the playoffs? I guess what did you learn, and what can you take away from that you're sort of implementing this year as you guys head down the stretch?
That's a good question, and it's a good point you bring up, and you have to learn from those mistakes, and it didn't go our way last year. We lost a couple there at the end, and we unfortunately didn't make the playoffs, and that's the whole purpose of playing football right now, is to be able to extend your season and to play well after what you're guaranteed. And obviously a tough year last year, but you have to look at the film, you have to see what you did wrong, and you have to make those games happen in December and November when it matters most, and especially January. So we've got another great opportunity this year, and you really have to take it week by week. The Colts are the most important game this week because it's happening in a couple days, and if you can focus like that week in and week out, I think you'll like where you end up.
Are you monitoring the other games? Do you have it in your mind who's, with a scenario of clinching? Because if certain things do fall your way, then you could clinch with a win on Monday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you didn't.
No, I didn't, but
You're welcome.
it's good to know. Yeah, thank you.
The Raiders lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pats are playing right now, and the Raiders play tonight.
Okay. That's cool to know.
We talked to Joe about the third quarter touchdown drought. Yesterday, you guys have gotten 9 straight weeks without third quarter touchdown. He mentioned that at halftime he could do maybe a better job of creating a more specific play script coming out of halftime, as far as instead of just highlighting plays, ordering them like you guys do at the beginning of the game. And I'm just curious, how do you think that would help the offense if things were to be a little more specified or structured from a play script standpoint coming out of halftime?
I think that's always a good idea. I think that's one of those things you have to kind of adjust throughout the game and say, hey, this is how they're playing us. And, it's tough to script for the second half. And when you get a different game plan that the defense is playing, you have to kind of change what you're scripting. And so it's kind of based off what the defense is playing. And I think the defenses have kind of changed throughout the past couple of weeks of what they've been showing versus what they've played against us. But, Joe has done such a great job of getting us in the positions. We just have to go out there and execute as players.
Yeah. I guess what he was saying was actually during halftime. Because he's saying that at halftime the offensive staff will get together and Nuge will be like, okay, here's the runs we like, and then Joe will kind of go up and have a general idea of the direction he wants to go. But he was saying that scripting at halftime based on what the defense is doing might be able to break the trap.
Yeah, I think if he's able to do that, I think it'd always be a great idea. I think they're kind of crunched for time, especially as many position groups as he has to get around to. But if he's able to do that, I've got a ton of respect for him for being able to manage that as well.